Oh, it's 9 after. We should go.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, got to give the patrons something.
You do.
Throw them a little bone.
A little bit of a bone. All right. Here goes. It begins in 3. Are we recording? Yes. 3, 2, 1.
Genres for 4.
A genre category. This genre of art, this genre of novel, this genre of game, this alliterative genre, this fantasy genre, this spooky genre, this popular genre, this 6-letter genre, this genre about a low-born scamp, the genre of American local color ballet, the sword and sandal genre, a Japanese cartoon genre, a TV genre, 1970s genre of film, the 60s musical genre, this very American genre of music, king of this musical genre, master of this literary genre, leader in this colorful music genre, giant of this literary genre, 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 genres.
What a toothpaste.
The morning stream. That's not a chicken wing, man.
Did you know that Alex Trebek said genre like that and did it so often?
I had no idea. And I've been watching Jeopardy forever, and I've never heard him say, I've never noticed him saying genre like that. Like, it's so,
Genre.
it's almost like he's gotten threats from France about how to pronounce it. Like it's almost like a
It's a good way to put it. He
genre.
He really
this
digs
music
in.
genre.
I mean, I literally just say genre.
Yeah, I do too. Genre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he relished in it.
Now
He's
I
like,
can't even say it though without it sounding weird when I say it.
Yeah.
Genre. Yeah.
Genre.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be in the but I love the yacht rock genre.
Oh yeah, that genre is is there a better genre than the yacht rock? Yeah, he's I play that for 2 reasons. One, it's funny as crap and I love it, and he's an American treasure. And 2, word is his number spiked again, so he's back into the chemo, which is a real bummer.
Yeah.
So hopefully things turn out for the best for him.
His was is a very tough cancer to beat, and it was such a late stage that he's already beaten the odds. So
yeah, this is so it's pancreatic, right, or a kind of pancreatic? I know there's different kinds.
So I think that's right. Yeah.
The one that got Steve Jobs was a little slower on the burn. Like he dealt with it for years. So I know there's some differences, but the ones that are real rough are the ones that show up and 2 weeks later you're out. You're done.
Yeah. Right. Right.
So he's already, like you said, already beating the odds. Hopefully he does okay. But I love that genre.
Genre.
My new favorite genre of repeated words. Well done. Well done. Hey, did you know this? I've been meaning to share this for days, and I have this photo. I'm going to put it in our Discord so you can see it. But chat room, you may have to look this up. The dude in the American Iron Chef, which Iron Chef comes up on the show once in a while. For whatever reason, we bring it up. We do the secret ingredient and you do the whole... Yes, thank you. Yes, that whole thing you do. Like, it's great.
Yes.
We love talking about it.
Well, it's funny because that thing that I do is absolutely from the Japanese...
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Iron Chef, but this guy's from the American Iron Chef. So we are we do cross the streams a little bit.
Yes, so that's what we're doing today. Now, that dude, and the reason that image is him standing there with this John Wick picture superimposed... It just blows my mind. The chief bad dude that's constantly chasing him around that final third movie, or that last third movie, it's not the final movie, is that guy.
Right.
I didn't know it was that guy. I didn't know Iron Chef was chasing John Wick around.
No, and what's funny is I know he's been in a few movies, and I want to say that he's even been in something that we watched for Film Sack, Mark DeCosos. But I don't know why I never think of him as an actor when we see him there, because we separate the Iron Chef stuff so far from the actual acting stuff that he does.
Right.
Did we see Maximum Impact? It sure feels like it, but probably not.
It does feel like it, doesn't it?
It just feels like something we've seen.
I've never seen him in any of this stuff before, and so Here in a second, chat. This will actually post.
He's
right
in.
show to you, but
He's in so much stuff.
I had no idea. I had no idea it was that guy.
Yeah, and let me see. But I know there was something that we saw.
He was on.
Oh,
screen.
Maximum Overdrive? Was that it? No.
Oh, was he in that?
No. You heard me say Maximum Overdrive, but I said Maximum Impact.
Oh.
Uh,
Who the chat did? I don't know what I heard.
No. Yeah, the chat room.
Yeah.
Only the Strong? No. Crying Freeman? Drive? Did we see Drive?
No, Drive's the one with everyone's heartthrob man, the Notebook guy, right? I can't think of his name. Used to be in Disney.
No. You're thinking of Ryan Gosling?
Yeah. Oh, is that Drive?
Driver?
Driver.
I think it's
is what I'm
Driver.
thinking of.
Driver, or is it Drive?
Yeah, no, you're right.
The Extendables. I'm sure I can tell just from looking at that is supposed to be for people who don't know how to search for Expendables and accidentally find that one.
Yeah.
Kickboxer 5. Cradle to the Grave.
I don't think we've seen that. Have we seen?
Yeah.
So your theory is we've seen.
I
on
feel like
Film Sack.
we've seen. Yeah, but maybe not.
Hmm.
I feel like we've seen him in something.
Well, definitely saw him in John Wick 3, and that's weird. That's freaking weird. That the guy from Iron Chef is in the Iron Chef. That he is the Iron Chef, right? Because he's the guy.
He's the no. The Iron Chef is the chef who wins. He's just the chairman.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. The chairman. So the
Yes.
Iron Chef chairman
Yes.
shaved his head and is chasing John Wick all over the world. That's what's going on.
Correct. Yes. Very exactly. Yep.
That's
exactly.
amazing.
Seven cuts.
All right. Icor says he's also on Hawaii Five-0 and some other stuff. So, he's the son of
and
the
maybe
chairman.
I'm thinking of the what's that?
They say he's the son of the chairman. TVZ Gun says, is he actually his son? That can't be, can it?
What? Not the son of Tagaki or Takeshi Kaga.
Yeah, that can't be, right?
No.
Yeah. I
No.
don't-
Oh, that was it. He was on Agents of Shield. Yes.
Oh, yeah. You watched that. I forget. That's
I
the
do
thing you
watch
watch.
that.
What did he play in that? Was he Wonder Man, the Wonder Monkey?
He was Chairman Man. The Chairman.
Chairman.
Chairman. What's his power? Sit on him. Excelsior.
Love it.
Yeah, and Takeshi Kaga, who is the chairman in the Japanese Iron Chef, is also a big time actor, and maybe that's who I'm thinking of. I'm wondering if that's something. I'm looking through his
Like Big Trouble in
list.
Little China or something like that.
something. Yeah, exactly.
I can totally see that. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Sidian's right. The American chairman is introduced as the nephew of the original one, but there's no way that's true in real life.
Really?
That's just made up.
No. Yeah, it's just like a.
It's made up.
Here's how we continue the Iron Chef lore.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I like it, though. I like it. I
Yeah,
like
me
when I
too.
find dumb stuff like that and why that guy
Yeah.
looks so familiar to me. And the whole time I'm watching John Wick, I'm like, I know this guy. I know this guy. Why do I know this
Right.
guy?
What else have we seen him in? And
Yep.
yeah, he's telling you to make sure you include Twizzlers in your in each of your
That's exactly right.
secret ingredient.
Oh, here's where we saw him on.
Dippin' Dots.
Oh, man, I would kill for a Dippin' Dots episode of Iron Chef America.
Is ice cream of the future.
Perfect. Double Dragon was the movie we saw in Film Sack that he was in. He was in Double Dragon.
Oh, Double Dragon. Yes, there we go.
He was a very young actor then. He played Jimmy Lee, one of the main bad guys or something. Let's see. No, he was one of the main good guys. It was Robert Patrick was the bad guy. Then you had Mark Dacascos as Jimmy Lee and Scott Wolf as Billy Lee. He was the other brother. Oh, that's hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah. Well done.
Wow.
Well done, terrible movie. Well done.
Was he a single dragon in Double Dragon?
Oh, here he is. Oh my gosh, Brian.
Oh, give me a link.
All right,
Sounds
sorry.
like you need a link.
This is amazing. Hold on. I feel like if I don't share this, then what are friends for? Okay, there.
Right.
Look at
Keep
this.
smiling.
That's him in the red.
God.
That's him in the red.
Yeah, it is. Jeez. Yeah. So much better. Wow. It's like Disco Ninjas.
Yeah.
Basically, with those sequined geese. Is that a gi?
It's a gi. I think they still call them
a
geese.
gi.
Is that a gi?
I think it's a gi.
I don't understand how
Let's see
geese
whether they
work.
change it. Is that a superimposed photo? Do you think they took photos of them separately and put them together, or do you think that that his foot is practically on top of the other guy's foot like that.
I think that they're in the same photo. I think
Yeah,
that
because the
they're-
shadows overlap, and there's
Yeah.
a
Plus, it was what 90 or something.
yeah. It was right. It was a little early for a lot of Photoshop work.
Yeah. Not good Photoshop anyway, but anyway, I think that's great. All right, I've learned a whole lot of new things today, so I'm really glad that came up.
No
All
kidding. That's
right,
awesome.
I have a mystery for everybody. Here's a mystery. We've done
Oh,
we had fart
all right.
gas, we had explosive tip. I have a new one.
All right. Ooh, good.
Yeah, saw a guy on a dog walk. I said hi. I didn't have headphones on, so I know I wasn't being muffled or didn't hear anything. I was going headphoneless this morning, just enjoying the air and the wind, and it's kind of stormy out, but not raining,
Nice.
and the just the dog, and just trying to like live in it, right?
Experiencing the great outdoors. Yes.
And I said hello, and the guy goes, "Herp," like that. He goes herp, and the best way I can put it out phonetically is HERUPPP. Herp. So, am I to take that as just like, oh, that's just his quirky way of going, like an acknowledgement, or was he trying to say something? And if he was, what was it?
Yeah.
I don't know what to make
Okay.
of it.
Couple theories.
Go.
Could have had a Jolly Rancher in his mouth, and this is
Okay.
or, a giant jawbreaker, one of those big jawbreakers that's white with the little colored speckles.
Could be. All right.
So
So oral
could have just
obstruction.
had some dental work.
Yeah, some kind of oral obstruction, either dental or food
Correct.
or
so
lozenge or
that's
whatever.
That's possible. That could be, it's older guy. How old was this person?
Probably, yeah, he was older. He's probably early 60s, I'd say. They're 60,
Gotcha. So
62.
in this could be like just I moved here from the country, lived out there in the
He was like,
on farm. Yep.
moved here from the country. I ate a lot of peaches. He said. Yeah. So the word "herp," I don't know what to make of it, but it was like syrup with a H. That's what it reminded me of.
Yep.
So herp.
Almost like an affirmative, like a yep.
Yep. Oh, I mean, that could be like that was one of my first thoughts. Is it's just more like a yep, like a colloquial, localized country boy
Yeah.
yep.
And sometimes those, if you have a sprig of straw hanging out of your mouth,
Right.
you get a lot of those. You're like, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Herp. I could totally see that. It's
Yeah.
a little bit of what's his name, Boomhauer in there, just a tiny bit.
A little bit of Boomhauer, yeah. Real weather front coming in. Yep.
Yep. Sitting around the backyard doing it.
Ginny's laughing at my sprig of straw. What do you call it, like a stalk of straw, or I guess it's a wheat. You just picture the long blade of wheat.
Yeah, it's a sprig, isn't it?
A sprig, I guess, is more like a sprig is like parsley, where it's
Oh,
multiple tiny branches.
I would have said you were correct with sprig with that context.
Stalk of wheat, but stalk feels like it's big.
What is
What is
what is
the-
a spriggin? Is that a different thing? All right, let's see.
Spriggin.
Yeah, hold on. Sprig. I found the definition. Here it is. First
Okay,
of all, let's hear Merriam-Webster say it out loud. Here we go.
Sprig.
All right, there you go. Sprig.
Sprig.
She says this. I'm sorry, Miriam. I keep treating it like it's a lady. The website says this. The definition of sprig: a small shoot, aka like a sprig of parsley, a small division of grass used for propagation. Small specimen of grass, ornament resembling a sprig, stemmed flower or leaf, a small headless nail. That's a weird one. I think you're right. I think it's still a sprig. That's a sprig of wheat.
You think so?
Yep.
Okay. I do a sprig. If I search for sprig of wheat, I get multiple blades of wheat with the wheat at the end.
Oh.
So I feel like a sprig. I don't know. Like if you think of a sprig of holly, you
Yeah.
don't think of it being like one little twig with a berry and a leaf on it.
Right. At least I wouldn't. Wait,
Yeah.
look at this one that's recommending to me.
Turd.
Okay.
No,
All right.
turd. Interesting.
That's it.
Yeah.
A turd of wheat.
Yeah, turd of wheat.
Turd.
Turd of wheat.
Examples of turd in a sentence. He's an obnoxious little turd. Thanks, Merriam-Webster. You're the best.
A grain of wheat? No, because that would just be the end. A stalk of wheat?
Stock, maybe? Let's see. Stock.
I mean, a blade of grass, is a blade.
Yeah.
But maybe that's a length thing. Maybe.
I don't know. It feels like
I don't know.
Sprig. I still think Sprig is right. Sprig's right.
Okay. All right.
Yep. I'm giving you Sprig.
Sprig of wheat.
Yep.
Sprig of wheat.
Yep. The judge is
My
going to
favorite
allow
breakfast cereal. Sprig of wheat.
Sprig of wheat. Yeah. You put a little milk in there. Oh man. Get yourself some big heaping bowl of Sprig of wheat. Finally.
Everything on this coffee table is edible.
Finally, we have an email I want to read. This is a time zone follow-up to our time zone discussion about eliminating time zones.
Yeah. Oh, right, because we talked about eliminating time zones altogether, and your time is just your time, and we don't care about, your 4 o'clock is the same as my 4 o'clock, but your 4 o'clock might be the time you go to bed. My 4 o'clock is the time I have breakfast or something
100%.
Like that.
And then I think Dunaway's the one that brought up the weird swatch time thing.
Right, yes,
and all
right.
That. So here's what he says. This is from Mink, M-I-N-K. Maybe it's a mink of wheat. You got a mink of wheat in your mouth.
A mink of wheat.
Maybe not. That doesn't work.
Sure, maybe not. Yeah, no.
Dear Super TMS team. That's us.
Love that.
It's
all right. Already on Mink's team.
Yeah, already Team Mink here.
Team Mink.
Says, you guys are talking about eliminating time zones and how great that would be. Don't we already have this? This is exactly what Universal Coordinated Time, or UTC, is. I feel like that's exactly what you want, but Scott just gets confused and calls it space points. Because apparently that's his way of saying objectively better meteorology system. See Scott in the metric system. I first of all, I need to take umbrage with this. Today's word is umbrage. I take umbrage with this because I am full support of the metric system. I tease Patrick and friends broad out of pure tease, and that's it. But the truth is, 100% behind metric, way more than imperial. To get rid of imperial, sure. I don't want inches anymore. I don't want any of that. In fact, 90% of the stuff I do where I need to worry about measurement, I do in metric anyway. I'm always doing millimeters, centimeters. Like, I'm not anywhere near an inch most of the time. So, oh, don't capture that out. That's a cheap one. That's a too easy one. That's too easy.
That's all right. That's you got to do it.
Too easy. Oh my gosh, softball over the plate to freaking Jamie. Anyway, so I'm all for that. So I just want to clear that right up. Now UTC, I have to admit, I don't totally understand it. He says so. Yeah, go ahead.
I always thought UTC was just the adjustment you made to your own time to figure out what your daylight savings is, I'm sorry, not your daylight savings, to figure out what your time is in relation to Greenwich Mean Time.
That's what I thought too.
Like, oh, my UTC is -7 here in Colorado, or I think yours is UTC -7, obviously.
Right.
But I'm on the timeanddate.com website which has the UTC world clock time zone, and it's 1527 UTC, which is Universal Time Coordinated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is the successor to Greenwich Mean Time. All right.
Okay.
So it's, regardless of who goes to this website, they're all going to see it's 1528 right now.
Okay.
United Kingdom is 1 hour ahead of UTC during summer. Well, already we've got a problem.
So it's UTC +1? Is that how you just say it? But that's not good. I don't want. Hey, what time is it? It's UTC -7.
Yeah, no. See,
because that's our permanent difference in UTC time. Yeah, exactly. Right. Brian's right. That's you compare it to UTC, and I always do this when I'm doing international call stuff. I'll go, where are you guys? Well, we're 7 hours behind you. Why do I know that? UTC -7. I know that. So wherever UTC is for you, know that we're 7 hours behind that. But it's not us going, I'll meet you there at UTC -7 o'clock.
Right. No, exactly. No, but this would work, again, because like everybody who goes to the site is going to see 1528, now 1529. But the fact that the only way that can work is if it's always the same, and apparently during summer, United Kingdom is 1 hour ahead of UTC. So all of a sudden it's like, we've come up with this perfect system. Let's create a flaw in it so that you can't always use it as a consistent number.
Right. Also, someone in the chat asked me how many centimeters tall am I if I'm so good with metric, and the answer is an easy one. It's 191 centimeters. Take that. Jerks.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, 6'3",
Nice.
6'3" last I checked converts to 191, I believe.
Okay.
Unless I have that wrong, but I think that's right. Anyway.
So if you would you be able to say, all right, welcome to another morning stream. It's 15:30 right now, and we're about to do da 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 da.
You could do that, sure.
You
sure.
could get used to that.
Yeah, I could do 15:30. Yeah. What I can't get used to is UTC minus something. I can't do that.
Yeah, no, I think we don't. That is how you would just say your time zone. If we didn't go to a universal time and say around the world it is 15:30 right now. If we still had to say no, okay, well I'm here, so that means it's 8 o'clock for me, which is 15 minus 7.
Yeah, the whole point of this would be to erase the need for you having any different number than anyone else would.
Right.
It's just that at 15:37, it might be noon, or might be noonday, meaning high sun, in the sky for you. But for somebody else, that might be middle of the night. It's okay. It's still 15, whatever.
Yep.
And
So, and that's the mindset that we'd have to get out of is time and sun placement are completely unrelated.
Yes.
Doing that.
Disconnect them. Cut that cord.
Yep. Exactly.
100%. Brian's right. All right,
Yep.
take that, Mink. Come back at me. Come at me, yo, bro.
God, how great would that be to be able to say, "Oh, what time's your podcast on?" 15.
Yeah, 15.
We're on to 15.
Yeah, or 15:30. Yeah, that's easy. Because you still have the 1 through 12, right? Because it goes 24.
You go all the way to 24, and then you don't have to worry about AMs and PMs.
Right, you just do the full 24. So you
Just do the 24-hour clock and just say, "Yep. Oh, I'll be going to bed probably around 19. So just let me know, when you wanna get together."
Yeah. What are you guys doing? We got dinner at 18, but I'll probably be done about 19:30. 19:30.
Exactly.
19:30. See?
Right. See, exactly. 1930. The Love Boat on at 1200.
See, this is it's all just cultural hangups. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? Like we could just break that and go, it's fine if this stuff that's been here forever changes. It's one of the problem with humans.
Yes.
We're afraid to change. Change, everybody. Change. Progressive fate is helping us change. All right. Yeah. Sorry.
How it's kind of older people that stereotypically rally against change, right?
Yeah.
Like, so right now, if a president were to say, "All right, I'm going to abolish time zones," me and the other world leaders, we discussed this at the G. What are we up to now? G14 summit, because we had a few more people join.
Sure.
We decided we're going to abolish time zones and we're all going to stick to time. No, I can't do that. 7 o'clock always has to be AM for me. So in 20 years, when we're the crotchety elderly, what are the things that we're going to hold on to that
my
people may
gosh.
want to change, that we're going to fight against, that's going to like freak us out? Like, no, you can't change. You can't add another letter to the alphabet. That's crazy.
I mean, it would probably soften the blow if we could think of what they would be now and prepare for them, but I don't know what they would be.
Yeah.
Like
I know,
another letter
but,
to the alphabet is a funny one. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Because that has exponential implications, doesn't it? If you added a letter,
It
like,
does.
let's call it
because all of a sudden that song is useless.
Yeah, you add the letter flim gets added, and flim is
right.
some-
W, X, Y, and Z, and flim.
And flim.
Now I know my.
So now we have 27, but you also now have 26 times. Oh, it's just exponential, the changes to words, because you have a new letter to work with. It would be insane.
Right. Yeah. So you just get to add them. Like, oh yeah, do you spell that with or without the flim? No, the flim is silent.
Yeah, the flim is silent. It's a silent flim. I remember the silent flim
Right.
era. Yeah. But anyway,
That's right.
the idea is interesting. I wonder what we're gonna freak out about. Like, it's easy to say, "Oh, you can't take my car away." I think that's gonna happen sooner or later, and I'm kind of ready for it. I'm not that worked
You mean
up.
take your car away like you're too old to drive?
No, not that. I don't care about that. I mean, like, cars have gone full automation. No one's driving them anymore. They just pick you up and take you places.
Well, you're saying you're going to take your control of your car away. You're going to keep your car, but it just won't. You won't be driving it. You'll just be sitting back. There was a video.
In theory,
last
you won't
week.
even have those. Like, the car will be, you'll just have a service. You'll pay $300 a month, and a car picks you up when you need it. And it's just, here's a robot
gotcha.
car in the front yard ready to go, Grandpa, get in. Like that kind of thing. Sorry, yeah, I interrupted you.
wow.
You were saying.
Oh yeah, no, there was a dude, a video last week of some dude full on sleeping while his Tesla drove down the highway.
Yeah, that thing, it's
It's
actually
man.
possible because that thing will, I mean, even my car, we have this newer Passat. And that thing, I didn't know it did all this, but I had it in what's it called? Not autopilot, whatever it is where you
Lane management mode or whatever it is.
Yeah, I've never even seen that before. So as we got to next to a truck, a little thing would come up on the screen. It would show like proximity warning, and then without me doing anything, it just slows down. And I'm like, oh, interesting. I get in the other lane where it's open and clear. It speeds up on its own again. Like it knew that it was time
That's
to do
cool.
it. Now it wasn't going to turn for me. The Teslas will do that. The Teslas will actually make the lane change for you, so you can kind of sleep. You're not supposed to, but you can.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But that kind of stuff, it's just going to get better and better and more prominent. We're going to get to a place where there are going to be people who are like, you ain't taking my keys. I want to own my car. And then some of us are going to be like, nah, it's fine. Just pick me up. I don't care. It's just a means to an end. Like our love of cars is a lot like our love of anything, guns or anything else in this country, where we just get so ownershipy about it. But at the end of the day, we've kind of forgotten what the point was in the first place. The point isn't ownership. The point is A to B distance traveled. That's it.
Yes. Right.
So
exactly.
I'm
as long as I can
yeah.
get to the Piggly Wiggly to get my my Metamucil, then I don't care if I'm driving or the car's driving me.
Yep. And if I could pay just like a flat, I don't know what, maybe it's a usage thing, but I don't know what company this is in the future, but I just pay my flat $150 a month. And that just means I pull out my phone or whatever equivalent voice thing we're doing, activate, and we just go, pick me up at 2. And the car just pulls up.
Yeah.
There it is. Robot. Nobody in it. Just me and the robot.
And it's totally great if you can be ahead of the game like that and know when you want to go somewhere. But how many times a week do you kind of spontaneously say, oh, I need to go out and get we just ran out of toilet paper. I need to run to the store. And I guess even then you're not saying to yourself, oh no, I can't wait 10 minutes for my Uber to show up.
Right.
Because we're out of toilet paper.
Well, and the theory in my head, the theory is that these things are so prominent and they'd be everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
That you would.
So there would
you could-
always be one readily available.
Yeah, you'd have one in 30 seconds or something. Now, there's tons of questions and lots of issues about
Sure.
does the robot know that the guy just barfed in the back seat? I don't know if he knows that. Like, maybe there needs to, like, there's a lot of questions. Lots of questions. I'm not saying
Well, I
this
told
is
you
easy,
that,
but we're getting there. We're getting there.
That first week that I was driving for Lyft, I think it might have even been the first day, I took a guy to the airport who was flying to Germany. He's a developer engineer that works on smart cars, but more on the part of the decision making of smart cars. So they can tell, all right, well, there's a pedestrian over there and there's a car on this side and I'm going to stay, going this way. And he said, the problem with smart cars isn't getting from A to B. We've mastered that.
Yeah.
And it isn't, it's how to stay in the lane. That's not the problem. The problem is when the car is faced with the choice of, do I, I'm about to get in an accident and I have two choices. I either veer right and kill the driver or I veer left and kill a pedestrian. What do I do?
Oh, man.
And I said, well, that seems like it's just a preference pane, just to, like just open up let the driver choose, like my life is more valuable than, and then little check boxes for
Oh, I love it. Like in your phone when you want, like your notification settings. Oh, my gosh.
Exactly.
Yeah. See, that's an interesting wrinkle on the whole thing. Wrinkle. I don't know why I
It
said
really
that twice.
is. Yeah.
But yeah, like I find this kind of stuff fascinating because we don't actually know what the end result's going to look like. But when we get there, there are going to be plenty of people to answer your original question who are like, not a chance, forget it. But there'll be some younger generation that's like, we're already doing this. What's wrong with you, old man? Just like we do, just like the generation before us did, just like the one before that did.
Exactly.
We just
and
keep doing
that's
it.
why I expect that we seem like we're super open-minded right now, Scott. Like, oh, metric, bring it on. Hey, universal time, we'll take it.
Yep.
But wait till we're 80 and they're saying, all right, we're eliminating the vowel E.
Yeah. It's going to throw us off. How can I watch my Wheel of Fortune now without an E?
You're gonna throw off the whole Wheel of Fortune economy.
How long?
Those things used to cost $250.
Pat Sajak's not going to live forever, you dipshits. Or we'll just sound like this.
Boot edge edge.
Boot edge edge.
Boot edge edge.
All right. We've solved the world's travel problems. Now, let's solve more of them by doing this. Hold on. I thought I had it ready, and I didn't. Here you go.
This is your radio newscaster with another exclusive, sensational summary of world and local events.
Hey, look at this. It's the news, and it's brought to you by who?
The Diablo Show. Are these old show notes, Scott? The Diablo Show. What are you talking about? Just kidding. It's coming back. There's something in the air. Get it at frogpants.com/Diablo. Available in English and Esperanto.
I wish that was true. You promised a thing.
I'm not going to learn Esperanto. You can take your universal language and shove it up your keister.
You dirty millennial. I don't know why I said that, added that on there. It's fine. I have to be a lot nicer to millennials because I think I'm wrong about them. I think they're going to be great. Mm-hmm. And B, one of my oldest daughter is technically on the very edge of. She's on the Buddha edge.
Is she on the Buddha edge of being a millennial?
So she's kind of right there, and I don't want to give her too much heat. But anyway, let's get to the news here. Yeah. But my point is, so this Diablo thing hinges on one really important thing. All expectations are all of
November 6th or whatever.
All of the feelings and all of the predictions and all the stuff point to big announcement at BlizzCon, and I want to revive that show, and that's how it'll happen. If it all poops, there will be a show about how it all pooped, but then that may not continue after that.
Might be a one-shot show, limited series.
Sign up now. I mean, that thing has 25 episodes, which are fun to go back and listen to anyway, but it looks like we might be in good shape, so check that out. There's a new episode up. It's only a minute and a half of me talking about what's coming up, but there's that.
I'm looking forward to getting the virtual ticket for BlizzCon. I just wish there was a virtual ticket available for going to Disneyland with my son, where we can just both strap on a couple of PSVRs and be like, all right, let's go get in line for Guardians of the Galaxy ride again.
Isn't there has to be some sort of VR Disney park experience by now, right? I've
looked because I would love to do a Disney VR experience and a Las Vegas Strip VR experience, and I don't see either of them. I haven't been able to find either of them with Oculus Go or even online that you could view as a,
Yeah, that would be really awesome. Why they haven't done that? Just even if it's just a park VR experience, even if it's not the rides.
Right.
That would be really cool. And if it updated for the Star Wars stuff and updated for other changes and renovations, that'd be so rad. I'd do that.
Experience the joy of waiting in line for rides without the experience of riding the rides.
Yeah, exactly. TVZ got a nice memory on the Diablo show bringing up Deadmau5. What's Deadmau5's real name? Anyway, whatever. He called the show once under his real name and left a message on the Diablo show because he was really into Diablo, that guy. In fact, famously had a level...
That's cool.
Oh, what was it? Level 700 something. I can't remember the name of the damn thing you get when you get those extra levels. Anyway, whatever it is. But anyway, he had this hardcore character, which means if he dies, he's dead. And
it's gone, and everything that he's been working towards is permanently erased. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, and Paragon's the word. Sorry, Paragon level. 750 Paragon levels. That represents, I can't even tell you how many hours that represents. That is just an insane amount of play. And there was a glitch in the server, and his dude died and lost it all on a stream. Oh man.
Oh,
it was so rough.
Did he just sit there quietly looking at the screen blinking
I mean, he looked really nonplussed, and then he swore a lot, which was pretty fun to watch.
Sure, yeah.
But he called the show one time, and I didn't even know who it was, and someone pointed it out, and I was like, "What? Are you kidding? That guy called the show." And I went and checked his voice, same guy. Do you remember all that? I was making kind of a big deal.
I do remember that. Yeah. I forgot about that. For some reason, I didn't remember that was Diablo. I thought that was. I guess if I would have thought about it, Diablo would make the most sense because it wasn't StarCraft. I know it wasn't WoW.
Yeah, definitely not WoW. And then that was also the dude who plays Deckard Cain. We got him to call in once. That was John's doing. That was cool. So I'm just excited to get back to it is what I'm saying, If Diablo's real, if there's really going to be a 4 or whatever it is in the future, I'm ready. My body is ready. All right. Brian, let's get to this here.
Yes, sir. Yes.
We got a funny thing sent to us by a listener. I'm going to open this up. It was sent via Twitter. This is a news item, but also just the way it's presented is pretty funny. So it comes in the form of two things: a Reddit post and then a follow-up tweet from two totally different sources. This came to us from M to the C, or let's see, Mickey BC23 on Twitter. And the original post came from somebody. It was posted on the subreddit Legal Advice in the UK. And the guy's name is I don't have his name, but anyway, he posted this: about to be sacked from work. Can I hire a clown to support me in my meeting? That was his question. And then he went on to describe. He says, I effed up at work and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be sacked. They invited me in for a meeting where they're going to sack me. They told me I can bring someone to support me. I want to hire a clown to support me. I'll get him to blow balloon animals and mime stuff. Can I do this? Can they stop me?
I love the fact. So that's not a thing that we see here in the U.S. Like, if you know you're going to get fired, you don't get invited to a meeting and say, by the way, you can bring somebody to support you, right? Like, you don't get offered, like, because I when I first read this, I thought, oh, someone to support you, meaning like someone you work with that can back you up and say, no, he didn't mess up. This was something that he, this is his part of his job, and it was a misinterpretation of this factor of his job or whatever. Right. Or he's usually really good, but basically having an emotional support person basically is what this is.
The chat room's right. They're saying this is such a George Costanza move. I couldn't agree more. It's totally something George would do. But it's you're right. Like, I even think there were a couple of Office episodes where Ricky Gervais's character had to fire someone and they had a support person in there. I think that's a common thing over there or something.
Sounds familiar, yeah.
Something like that is in my head. But anyway, so here's the fun follow-up. That was in, they don't have the date, or do we? No. But that was a big deal. People laughed or whatever. Then in a separate, unconnected tweet from the nzherald.co.nz, this is in New Zealand.
Right. Right. This was in New Zealand, not the UK.
Yeah. In Liam Stack is the reporter. And here's the reporting. This is the headline. A New Zealand man brought an emotional support clown to a meeting where he knew he'd be fired. The clown blew up balloons and folded them into a series of animals throughout the meeting, then mimed crying when the man was handed a pink slip. The guy did it!
I love that last bit, like, like when the guy gets fired doing the whole miming. Because you can just see, like, the lower lip sticking out.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. So good. Sometimes the internet is wonderful, Yeah,
it really is.
Sometimes. Not always, but sometimes.
And this is, for this thing, they say it's a redundancy meeting. Like, they, it's
and the
you're getting laid off because you're, not because you effed up, but because you're, well, unless that's the excuse. They say, your position is no longer needed.
Yeah, redundancies are, what do we call them? Layoffs, I guess.
Layoffs.
That's what we call them. Yeah.
Reorganization is the, the diplomatic term. Oh, we're having a staff reorganization. Oh, it looks like somebody's getting fired.
Yep. I'm going to draw some scary clowns, by the way, for Halloween. That's my next thing to do.
They are all the rage right now with between Pennywise and Joker. Clowns are the hot new thing this Halloween season.
Boy, that Joker dude, that thing's getting all kinds of praise.
It really is. Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I'm too.
And there's no, like, as far as we know, there is no mention of, like, this thing doesn't say it takes place in Gotham. It doesn't say there's a Batman or anything, right? I mean, It is just like this Arthur character is.
I mean, they may in the movie make reference to it being Gotham, but so far they haven't shown any of that.
So far, I haven't seen anything. Yeah.
And one would think if they're going to not rewrite, but kind of retcon the creation of the Joker and fill in a bunch of holes, this would all presumably happen well before Batman is Batman. So
right, that's true. Oh, Sidian and LC Knights say that Thomas Wayne and Arkham are both in the trailer.
Oh,
so, okay,
really?
So interesting. All right.
I didn't know that I was seeing Thomas Wayne. I need to go watch the trailer again.
I guess I need to as well.
Yeah, I hear it is really good and a little disturbing because he's not only really thrown himself into this role, but it really plays up that kind of lone, guy that's about to crack, which we've certainly had our fair share of those lately, where they go on a crazy rampage and do stuff
push too far and
So there's some of that around this that's interesting, but I really want to see this movie. I'm excited. Was
Yeah,
it
me too.
one of the big film festivals gave it the top honor?
Yeah, I was just reading that this morning in the Hollywood Reporter. And which one was it? It was the
Can't remember.
it was TIFF, right? It was the
TIFF?
yeah, TFF something for Telluride Film Festival.
Oh,
I think?
maybe it was Telluride. Maybe.
Yeah,
I was
but
thinking
they keep
something in
referring to
Italy,
it as-
but I don't know.
it's TIFF.
Can't remember.
I don't know if I like that.
TIFF's just a graphic format I hate. You know?
It really is. Oh, great! I want my file to be as large as possible.
Yeah, can
and
you give
take
me
up as
a-
much space? Yeah.
Give me an uncompressed TIFF, please. No. We live in
That-
we live in 2019.
For you and me, though,
Yeah.
that comes from like, when the internet was just starting, we were working with dial-up.
Yep.
So it's like, oh, it's a TIFF. Great. Let me go ahead and download that for 6 hours.
Yep. Oh yeah. Good times were had by none.
Oh,
let's see.
Toronto. There it is. Toronto International Film Festival. That's TIFF.
Oh,
Okay.
Toronto. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, many chat room people.
Yeah, I want to say Venice did something big for that movie too. Venice Film Festival. I could be wrong.
VIF.
How
You
about
mean
this?
VIF
Yeah,
stuff?
VIF. Do not give me it in a VIF format. That's no good. All right, let's talk about a Spider-Man. I like Spider-Man. So do you. We're
I
fans.
love Spider-Man. Yeah.
He's pretty great. Peter Parker's cool, but here's what happened. A teen dressed up as Spider-Man reportedly lured a pedophile and then beat the crap out of him.
Oh no! Really, like a To Catch a Predator kind of thing.
Kind of, yeah. That's what it sounds like.
What did you think was going to happen here?
I haven't, man. Is that a thing that I can? Is
I don't
that
think
on?
it's still on anymore.
Okay, that's gone. All right. I was
I
just
think
curious.
so, yeah.
That was quite the
And
phenomenon.
the Predators, the Predators have gotten wise to it now. It's like, oh yeah, this Tiffany is inviting me over for iced tea. I think this is a setup.
Yeah, something's funky. And the guy, who's the
Chris
guy?
Harrison? You have to tell me if you're Chris Harrison.
Yeah. Was it Chris Harrison? Is that the name?
Wasn't Chris Harrison the guy?
Chris Anderson? Chris Harrison? Chris, whatever it was. But I kept having Hanson. Oh, Hanson. We're close.
Hanson, right? Chris Harrison is the Bachelor guy. that's pretty close, though, isn't it?
It
like,
is pretty close. It's very close.
what did you think was going to happen here? You
But
think?
here's the thing, though. I always felt like the whole thing would fall apart because they were going to find out that the host had some weird thing in his past. Like that's what I thought.
Oh, jeez.
I kept thinking, man, are you sure you want to be hosting this? And I don't know your history, but man, what if it came out? You know, maybe it did. Did something happen?
Something happened. To Catch a Predator host Chris Hansen arrested.
That's what it was.
That's not real. Is it real? Did this January 17th,
It was a while ago.
2019? Earlier this year.
Oh, it was this
I wonder,
year?
Is there an article that's not a YouTube video? Is this real or did somebody just oh, there it is. Yeah. Arrested Monday after he wrote bad checks to a vendor he owed money to. So he didn't get arrested for doing the thing that he was kind of trying to catch people on, but he wrote $13,000 of bad checks.
Oh my gosh, there it is. Draws out history of
He bought
financial woes and complaints.
$13,000 worth of promotional items like hats, shirts, and mugs from a local company. Oh man,
Oh,
that's
Chris.
a bummer.
To Catch a Check Bouncer is the new show. We're doing.
That's right.
But this always happens. I'm just saying. I mean, I think that show maybe was good for what it was trying to do. Although I think a lot of people watched it just because it was like rubbernecking, watching a car crash. But if it stops some predators, great and all that. But you just always, every time somebody complains way too much about somebody else, even if it's in this capacity, I just go, "Oh, I hope you don't have something going on there, buddy. Just some kind of weird little thing." Yeah. And it turns out it's just checks. So
It's you certainly don't
to
want that
bounce
to
a creditor.
To bounce a credit, that's great.
Oh, that's gonna hold up in voting. I Am Sci-Fi. Nice
I
job.
think so. Yep.
Nice job. All right. Well, enough of him.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, so this kid, he dresses up. It's in Brazil. He lured and beat up a suspected pedophile while dressed as can't read, as Marvel Comics Spider-Man. I almost called him Spatman for some reason.
Spatman.
Spatman. He never spits, but he has already spat. Says Brazil's A Tribuna reports police arrested a 15-year-old boy who had been pretending to be a 14-year-old girl on Tinder after meeting the man up whose age was not disclosed. Did it at night in a park. The suspected pedophile was taken into the hospital later, and police gave a statement. According to Twitter's Oceania, whatever that means, who translated the article, our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man over here packed 2 pocket knives, and 2 retractable tonfas. Do you know what a tonfa is?
Tonfa.
Retractable tonfa.
That's like a stick, like a long baton, isn't it? Or am I thinking of something
Oh,
else?
the ones where they go shlink and it comes out in a long
Yeah,
thing and has
yeah,
a ball on
exactly,
the end.
isn't that-
Little
Oh, no. Those are the ones that they look like. So they're the sticks that have the bar. Like it's like a police baton with a side handle.
okay.
You know, like the like the wooden batons that police have, but they have a side handle so you can go shoom punk and
Interesting.
whack them.
All right. I'm going to
Yeah.
whoops. I want to oh my gosh.
Yeah, once you look at the photo of a tonfa, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's a tonfa.
I want to see one. I've never heard that name.
No, I always
Tonfa.
thought those were batons.
Oh, you're totally right. And you have 2 of them? You do the
Yep.
whole the Karate Man two for deal unit.
Exactly. The lost Ninja Turtle.
Right, right. Antonio or whatever.
I don't know. It would be let's see, who would be the last artist that they use? Warhol. Warhol carried tonfas.
Warhol. I love it.
Liechtenstein.
I love it. Warhol, the
So
lost.
looking at the photo, I had to do a little searching around for a photo of the Spider-Man dude, Spider-Man kid.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, dude, this guy's a hero. Well done on this dude. But to find out that he's kind of got a Scarlet Spider red hoodie thing going on, I'm a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, it's a
Now
little,
it's like, oh,
yeah, could do better.
you had me until the red hoodie.
Yeah, do better.
If you've got the long sleeve blue shirt underneath the sleeveless red hoodie with a Spider-Man spray paint on the front, then I'm afraid we can't be friends.
We
no
can't.
matter.
Yeah, you're gonna have to cut off your relationship right now. Final story for today. I'll save these others for tomorrow. We got a toilet stolen. Set off the alarms, everybody. A Blenheim Palace burglary happened, and someone stole a golden toilet.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to play something when I say golden toilet. Just a second.
Boot edge.
All right, there you go. Golden toilet. It was 18 karat gold and was stolen in a burglary overnight at the Blenheim Palace, which is where in the UK? I think so. Oxfordshire. There you
Yes, in Oxfordshire.
go. Let's see. It was artwork, not really a toilet to be used. It was just a gold toilet to be sort of an art
Whoops.
piece. But yeah.
Sorry, I thought it was a real one. There needs to be a much bigger sign that says artwork, do not use this toilet.
Do not use this toilet. It says the guy, they already arrested the guy. He was 66 years old, or is still 66 years old, and he stole the golden toilet. I'm trying to find what it was worth. Does it say how much that toilet? Because 18 karat gold toilet is that can't be cheap.
Yeah, it's got to be. Well, number one, it's got to be massively heavy too. If it's a solid gold toilet.
Oh, I made that thing. I was teasing about the Trump thing. It actually says here, this particular golden toilet was famously offered to the U.S. president in 2017. I had no idea. That's news.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had no idea. It doesn't say what it was worth. That's too bad. I'd like to know what a toilet
This
like.
is a satirical. It's the solid gold toilet is called America,
Great.
and it's an example of satirical participatory art.
Nice.
It's a fully functioning toilet made out of 18 karat solid gold.
Look at that thing, chat room. Can you see it?
That's America.
Yeah, look at that right there. There's America for you. That's where America's ass goes.
1.25 million.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Really?
The fact that it's called America, it's like, okay, UK, you got us.
Yeah, well
You
done.
got us.
Also, what a waste. That's a lot of money.
No, it's art. Art's never a waste, Scott.
Yeah. I think this gold toilet might be a waste. I'm just going to put it out there.
But it's functional.
It's functional waste. You're right.
Yes.
And it will help.
I'm gonna go eat a big old Chipotle burrito and foul up a solid gold toilet.
Send that down the old
How do
gold
you-
pipe.
But how do you get something like that out? Because again, it's got to be massively heavy.
Yeah, and that's the other part they don't go into too much. They don't know quite how the 66-year-old guy managed it, but he got out of there with it. Like, he got it. So, I don't know.
You've-
Some kind of...
You know what you
oceans
got to
of-
do? You've basically got to do the saw thing, where you cut the hole in the floor so that it keeps dropping, and then you carry it out on like a cart through the sewers.
Oh, yeah. He watches cartoons, this guy. He got it all
Right,
worked out.
103 kilograms.
Is that a lot? See, that's the part of metric I don't know a lot about.
I know, I don't understand it either.
The weight, I'm not into the weight. Measurements, I'm good. Weights, not so much. I'll have to figure that out. Oh yeah, the Italian job did that.
I'm asking my phone. 227 pounds. That's actually not. I mean, it's you're
It's
not going to
too
be.
bad.
You and I are not going to be hoisting that up and walking out with it, but you get about 5 people. I'll
Yeah.
grab a sign.
Yeah.
I still don't know how you get it out of there.
That seems crazy. And security and everything else, like how you walk out, that's crazy.
Yeah.
By the way, quick note here before we take a break. I'm going to put this up on the camera here. Got these samples in. On one side, we have the morning stream. And
The morning
you can see it on camera.
stream.
And our little logo. And on the other side of these collectibles, we have art. That one says Space Friend. That's original art for me. This one here has a picture of what's his name, Hodor, and Bran on his shoulder, sitting on a giant G for Game of Thrones, and it says Hodor and Bran down below. And if you are a member of our Patreon and you're at the appropriate level, you get this version of it plus a large print version of this every single month. Yeah,
That's
every
cool.
month. So it keeps me nice and busy, but I'm happy to do it because you guys get cool stuff. So these are collectible. There's one, like I said, new and original every month. And it's all part of our Patreon at patreon.com/TMS. Go check it out and see what else is on offer that you might like. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to make some things with Bill, talk to Jury, and more. But first, a song.
Right. All right. Well, this is fun. This is here's a band that gets inspiration through Led Zeppelin, Super Nintendo, and Wasted Days. They are from South Sydney, 5-piece band. They bring contemporary psychedelic into focus for the working class. Pub rock in Palace City is their tagline. The band is called Sketchy Fancy, which already you gotta love a band called Sketchy Fancy. They have a brand new album that just came out last Friday. It's called Good, Bad, Happy, Sad. Boy, Sketchy Fancy, Good, Bad, Happy, Sad feels like I'm playing Taboo or something. This is from the brand new album from Sketchy Fancy. It's called Endless Summer.
Stop asking how I wipe myself and how I put tampons in. That is highly personal, and I will never tell you how I wipe and put tampons in. Stop asking me personal questions, please.
What's that you found?
A hat.
Off, hairball. This is the morning stream.
That cracked me up. Chat room seems a little offended by it, but it wasn't me who said it. I just found some
My
YouTube
guess
girl.
is that she's got some sort of physical handicap that makes that a valid question, or not a valid, like you still wouldn't ask a person.
Yeah, still should probably keep it to yourself.
Exactly, but I'm guessing,
Yeah, she was a sport about it, and it made me laugh, so that's why it's a clip. Hey, welcome back to the show. We're back, and it means we got to get Bill all up in it, because that's what we do.
Got to show Bill the latest thing I've printed from my 3D resin printer.
Ooh.
Don't know how well this will show up on camera because it's
something other than the helmet thing you did before.
Yeah, so I showed you the Star Wars helmet. Did I ever show you this guy, the zombie hunter dude?
I don't know. I don't know if you did or not. Let's see. Oh, look at that.
Have to see.
Oh yeah, no. I think I did see something, but I think I saw it.
Yeah.
I don't know how I saw it. I don't remember now.
Yeah, I sent you a photograph.
Well, here's this.
But Bill just isn't thinking about danger.
Welcome to the program, everybody's favorite Tuesday maker. It's Bill Duran, everybody. Hi, Bill.
Good morning, friends.
Good morning.
Got
How are
my
you?
green milk.
You really, you've really subscribed to that green milk. Like, you're in.
Yeah.
You're all in.
So
yeah, well, I got one of those creatures in my
in.
backyard. I milk them every morning.
Yeah. Get out there. Well, if you don't, they get all hard and painful. The aliens' teats, I mean. So you got to be careful there. Give that thing some relief. Hey, Bill, it's good to see you, have you, and hear you. Do you come with us with some awesome thing you're working on this week? What's going on?
I have some fun stuff to chat about. So I make a lot of things, like physical things in the real world.
It's right there on your business card.
Yeah,
sure is. But there are a ton of digital skills that I use in the making of things. I thought I'd talk a little bit about some of those digital skills. Also, before I get started here, it's a good idea to Google free alternatives to Adobe programs, because there are a lot of Adobe programs that creative people use, and there are free alternatives for all of them. Now, I pay for the whole Adobe thing for my business, so I use all of those, but there are free options out there.
Yep. Or sometimes there's options that are just less expensive and buy once and not subscription based. Like there's a lot of sort of stuff in between. Always a good idea. I'm like you. I subscribe for business, and I still think it's, the best suite you can get your hands on of all of these tools. That being said, if you're somebody who's just like, I just need to edit some photographs, or I just need something to touch up this or that, or if even artists, it's like I just need something I can draw on and it's all I need and I don't want to pay monthly for it. There's a lot of alternatives out there.
Mm-hmm. In fact, I don't even use Illustrator because I find it to be an unwieldy beast. I still use Inkscape, which is free. So
interesting. I've been using Procreate way more than Photoshop for art. So
oh boy,
I feel you.
Yeah. So photography, just generally as a skill, it's never been easier to get into photography. It can be so useful for so many other creative endeavors. So I use my photography to show off my finished props. I use Photoshop. After the photography, you learn Photoshop and Lightroom, and I use that to create graphics for my props that I print out. Like we did the Fat Man nuke launcher. There was like a gauge on it. That was a graphic we had to do.
Mm-hmm.
So photography, Photoshop, and Lightroom are all super useful for pretty much any creative skill that you're working on.
Right. That's true. How do you feel about GIMP? Have you used GIMP lately?
Yeah. I don't like that as much as Photoshop.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
It is a little weird. It's better than it's ever been. I was just saying this to the chat room. But here's the thing with GIMP. When GIMP started, it's this open source project, which is cool. It's free, which is cool. And like technically, sort of prowess wise, it has kind of everything you would need in terms of output and formats and the ability to convert and do all the things you need to do on a professional level. The problem is they were so anti-Photoshop as like, look at us, we're the alternative over here, that they went all punk rock with it, and it worked against them for a long time because interface wise, keyboard shortcuts, like they decided to go everything different. Does Photoshop do it this way? Oh, well, we're going to do it a different way, not for any other reason except we don't want to be like Photoshop. So they worked really hard to do that, and I think that was a problem because a lot of people want to go from Photoshop and their workflows that they already know to something that will help them pick right up, maybe turn some twists and tricks, but similar conversion. And a lot of software does do that. I can name 5 pay-once alternatives that do a really good job of helping you feel like you're not having to learn a new language to go use a new a new photo editor. But for whatever reason, GIMP just really put their feet in the dirt and went, no, we're going to be different. But now it's gotten a little better. They've worked around it. There's some open source like stuff that you can plug into it that basically makes it Photoshop. So if you want to go down that road, just know that it's a little more, not hackery, but it's a little more like, I don't know, the road of open source can be littered with weird bodies, is all I'm saying.
Weird, unfamiliar bodies.
Yeah.
Is there still Photoshop Elements that you can get that's not subscription based that you pay once for and it's a lot cheaper than?
I don't think that exists anymore.
Creative Cloud.
No, but I think Photoshop 2 or 3 is free. I think there's an early version you can get. And don't quote me on that, but I seem to remember hearing an older version was free.
Let me check real quick on Elements.
The
Elements
next,
still exist, Brian. It may actually work.
Oh,
Hold
really?
on. Let me see what our price is here. Just hang on one second. It looks like you can buy Photoshop Elements 2019 for $99.99.
There you go.
So,
and that's a pay once and you've got it forever kind of thing.
It is. They're way feature less than Photoshop, but it's in a pinch that'll get you there. Yeah.
But it's something like 90% of the things that you would want to do, you can do in Photoshop Elements. You just can't do like automatically fill the background when I delete the the dude standing in the foreground, and
I think it's probably for photo people. It's probably just fine. If you're if you're an illustrator and you need the features Photoshop has for you, you're probably screwed here. I mean, I could never get Elements to work for me, so I would probably recommend not doing that.
Okay.
But if CS2 being free, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I have to go look and see what
Do you have
features
to be
are
a
missing.
student or something to get that deal, or
I don't know. Is it just out there,
Huh.
Bill? It's probably just out there, right? You probably just get it.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
I already paid for it, so I didn't go ever check.
Yeah, I don't either. I've actually kind of bought all in on the Adobe thing. It totally pays for itself. I use Audition constantly for all the podcasting and editing I do. I use Photoshop. I use Illustrator when I need to. I use some of the weirder stuff they've got now. They got some like modeling stuff that's super weird.
Dimensions and
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't even checked that out.
Yeah, that stuff's cool. You should go look at those. There's some neat stuff in there.
it's more. Yeah, the
Well-
dimension stuff is more for like creating product mock-ups. So you can say, oh, here's what your logo will look like on a coffee cup, and here's what your logo will look like on a gift bag.
Kind of, yeah. Like, but you can make them so ultra realistic that, like in see Vegas TMS 2018, I did that for our swag stuff because we didn't have pictures of it.
Oh yeah.
And everyone thought
Right.
it was just the pictures of it. It was so
A
realistic
photo of it.
looking.
Yeah.
So it's really, they have some neat little stuff. If you're into web design, Dreamweaver's still pretty great. If you're into, animation, that sort of thing, of course, Animate's in there. Like, if you're really using the suite, it's a steal. If you're using one app, get the lower priced tier or do one of these alternatives Bill's talking about. One other one. I want to give someone in the chat said it, Matuba, and I would like to second this. Affinity Designer and Photo. So Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer, those are basically Photoshop and Illustrator alternatives. They're buy once and have. They have amazing tablet versions as well as desktop versions. You can bring in PSD Photoshop files, export as Photoshop files, so you can still kind of keep the ecosystem there if you need it. And those are really good. Like, my top pick for like buy once and keep alternatives are those Affinity software things. Those are really, really good.
Cool.
So there's that.
Awesome.
Bill, anything else this week you'd like to mention?
Yeah, just rattle off a couple more skills that are worth diving into. So I mentioned Illustrator and Inkscape. I use vector paths or vector drawings to make my blueprints, but I also use them for making paths for my vinyl cutter and my laser cutter. So knowing a little bit about how vector drawings are made can be super useful.
Yep. And the advantage
where
if
to
you're-
put those splines.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Don't forget, the big advantage is if you're using vector, you have scalable imagery. It's basically math, and it just scales up and down infinitely without any loss of quality or clarity. And that, as opposed to, say, a raster image, which you would normally do in Photoshop, and generally photos are that way. They're made of a bunch of pixels. Reducing them is no problem. Enlarging them is, and they can look kind of garbagey. So you want to use what's appropriate for the thing you're doing. And in this case, what you're talking about is definitely vector.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course, 3D modeling is super, super handy. I use mine to 3D model things to 3D print, but there's a whole bunch of other great applications for 3D modeling. And also coding. This is the one I need a lot of work on. Arduino could be so handy for like making props move and having lights and sounds and everything. And learning some sort of coding language, I think, will help me with that, but also lots of other things in the future. I think at some point everyone's going to have to learn some kind of code.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even basic
Know your
stuff.
code.
Know your code, man.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. That's good advice. Go learn some code.
Yeah.
What do you recommend? Yeah. What do you recommend people start with if they were going to do it now? What do they need to learn?
I'm only learning Arduino because I bought a bunch of Arduino boards and now I need to figure out how to make them work. So that seems like a pretty good place to start.
And there's a lot of good resources online for that too. Like if you're saying, all right, want an Arduino for a set of relay lights or Twinkle or whatever, then you can find that code, can customize it for what you need.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Cool, man.
What's your go-to program right now for 3D design? By the way, are you using
Fusion? Yeah, Fusion 360.
Cool. I love it. That's what I use.
Well, there you go. Any other tips?
No, but I have a recommendation.
Give me a recommendation. Woo!
This is a channel I recently started watching called The Lockpicking Lawyer. He just picks locks and he's cool. But he worked with a company and they made a skateboard out of locks.
Huh.
And it's weird, and it's not really a skateboard you can ride, but it kind of is. And in another video, they tried to ride it. I just thought it was really neat.
So, is he really a lawyer?
I mean, his name is the Lockpicking Lawyer.
Seems like legally you couldn't say that you were a lawyer.
I don't know. Could I go on YouTube and claim a thing? I don't know.
You can claim all sorts of things on YouTube.
Yeah. Brian, what are we? We're the we're doctors, medical doctors. Let's just start saying that.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a little harder to claim.
Yeah. I mean, who's going to
I'm not an actor, but I play one on TV.
Well, cool. There's some people in the chat have already seen this.
It's really neat.
Recommend it.
This is interesting. Looking at this, the process of building the skateboard, it looks like, the biggest problem are going to be those wheels. As cool as they are, the fact that they're locks is brilliant, but they're not going to get any sort of grip on the ground. I'm guessing that's the problem that he ran into when he tried riding this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. May his law firm ever grow, and may his YouTube audience do the same. Bill Duran, everybody. Punishedprops.com. Bill, thanks for hanging out with us, man. We'll see you later.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.
I think Bill's tired. Do you think Bill's tired?
He sounded a little tired. I think that green milk needs a little more caffeine.
Yeah. I could be wrong. Just an impression. Seemed a little sleepy. All right.
Yeah.
Justin R. Young, then. That's the deal.
Sure. He's awake. He'll wake everybody up.
Yeah. That's what he do. I don't know if he even knows I accidentally played his intro for Tom the other day.
For Tom last week?
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Here's this.
These are their stories.
Oh, I'm terrible with names.
Hey, everybody. Check it out. It's Justin Robert Young all the way from O-Town, Oakland, California. Hello and welcome. How are you?
Oh, hi, friends. How are you?
Oh, you're very quiet today. I have you maxed, but you're very quiet. Can you...
All right. How about now?
A little more.
Now
a little
you're
more,
good?
A little bit more. A little bit more.
More?
Yeah, a little more.
More?
Say some words.
I mean, I'm like way maxed out on my board.
Oh, you're good right there. It's perfect. Yep, you're not peeking or anything. You sound good.
No peeking.
No peeking. Hey, it's good to have you here. This thing happened last week where Tom came on, and for some reason, I was so tied up with producing the show that it didn't even occur to me as it was playing. But I played your intro for him, and everyone else noticed but me. Just played it.
Right.
It's no big deal. He went do. Oh, I'm terrible with names. The whole thing played. And then Tom's like, why are you playing Justin's thing? And I'm like, what? I did? Oh, shit. Yeah. So I don't know what that was about.
You've been doing it for a while, so that's just par for the course.
I guess so.
It just happens.
Sounds about right.
It just happens.
So Justin comes on Tuesdays. We talk about all kinds of stuff, but usually something with a political bent. And today is going to be one of those days. And the reason is...
are you familiar with the Ballad of Corn Pop?
No. Okay, so I know enough about this to know that it's something about Joe Biden rambling somewhere.
I like the cereal.
Yeah, the cereal's cool. But Joe Biden was rambling at something and then talked about somebody named Corn Pop, which was like some gang leader name, and I don't know anything else about it. So
here's what happened.
Okay.
This is a clip that surfaced over the weekend. It's from 2 years ago where he was speaking at a public pool in Delaware where apparently as a teenager he was a lifeguard.
Okay.
And he told a story in a way that, Joe Biden has kind of always told stories like this. He's always just kind of like gone off and rambled. But now as he gets older, it takes on its own kind of flavor of like, I don't know where this is going or why you're telling me this. But he tells a story about how he used to have, or there was a guy named Corn Pop who was a gang leader that would come to the pool. This was a predominantly African-American pool that he was the lifeguard at. And Corn Pop had his hair pomaded, so he wore a bathing cap when he was going to dive into the pool. But the diving board apparently was too close to the side of the pool, and people weren't allowed to dive off the diving board. Now, if you're saying in your car or on your phone listening to this right now, oh my God, this is really rambly. What the hell is even going on? Imagine Joe Biden delivering the story. So he tells Corn Pop hey, Esther, get off the diving board, which is a reference to Esther Williams, who is one of the stars of those, like, you know, those old movie like diving and swimming
right, the
videos.
synchronized Billy Birksey or Billy, I think they're Billy Birksey movies.
Exactly, whatever. You know, the ones where all the ladies swim and they're wearing lipstick and they're smiling and they're
all looking up at the camera in like a circular formation.
Exactly. There's orchestral music playing.
Yes.
Esther Williams, apparently one of the stars of those movies, and referenced
Bubsy
without
Berkeley.
flinching
Berkeley,
in
that's
this in this story.
Yeah.
So Corn Pop gets upset and says, "I'm going to meet you outside." And so him and his gang go by Joe Biden's car. Joe Biden, apparently, thanks to a friendly maintenance man, walks out with a length of chain that he's going to threaten to hit Corn Pop with, because Corn Pop has a straight razor that he was looking to slash Joe Biden with. He says, "Hey, look, I don't regret kicking you out because you weren't supposed to be on the diving board, but I apologize for calling you Esther Williams." At which point, Corn Pop let him be.
Really? This is the story. Now, you say this is a couple years ago. Why is it coming up again? What brought it up again? Just people finding old video and going, "Ha, remember
so
this?"
So here's the funny part about it is that initially, I think it got traction because people believe Joe Biden, along with telling rambly stories, oftentimes tends to kind of stretch the truth a little bit. Maybe gets a little bit outside of the facts. Sometimes it's harmless, sometimes not so much. And so I think initially people were like, "Oh my God, this is a very obvious lie. There's no way that some dude named Corn Pop was going to slash him with a razor blade and he, bravely ran him off with a length of chain."
Yeah.
Now, what wound up becoming hilarious about it is that all the other stuff that he has done, which has had very little kind of pushback. It's like, he had this thing a couple weeks ago where he said that he had pinned some medal of commendation on a member of our armed forces, but all the details really didn't make sense, and it didn't seem like something that would have happened. And there's really not been a lot of proof that what he said was correct. As far as Corn Pop goes, it was 12 hours later and an avalanche of proof that indeed he was, there was an eyewitness that witnessed the event. He definitely has employment records that he worked at that pool. They found the obituary for Corn Pop, who died in 2016. And it's in the paper, that he's Alfred Corn Pop Johnson or whatever.
So the whole thing turned out to be a real story.
Absolutely, totally, 100% real. So that was something that people initially were trying to clown him on, oh, this is exactly the way that somebody like Joe Biden would look at an African American in that situation, if it indeed happened at all. And it turns out it's exactly the way he said. He just was a super rambly guy telling a super rambly story. Which, if you go on my Twitter, I mashed it up with Grandpa Simpson telling a story, and I was shocked at how well it fit together.
Oh no, it goes perfectly. So that brings the larger question to bear here. Biden is being accused of being too much of an old rambly grandpa to be a good president, or if really that he's just too old to be running. That I've heard the same people in the same breath say Trump's too old to run again. Age is an issue, and there should be a cutoff. I've heard people argue, but in his case, it does seem like if you're going to have, let's say the Democrats, what they want is somebody to go in there and clean up the mess Trump made. Okay, let's just say that's the thing. It seems like you're going to want somebody with some energy that isn't just wanting to tell you an old tale. You know what I mean? Somebody who's going to go in there and go, "All right,
spin a yarn."
Yeah, let's go in here." Instead, he's like, "I remember the time that Corn Pop threatened me with a knife." It does seem a little antithetical to their goals, yet there he is, the front runner, because of his name, prominence, last
let me ask you this in the abstract, because I do think that optics matter. People got on my butt because I was I made a big deal about the fact that during the debate last week, Bernie had a really hoarse voice. Yeah. And I'm like, look, whatever you think about that, like, he's old. The less he seems old, the better chances he has to win the presidency. The more he seems old, the worse it is. If Buttigieg had a harsh voice, or it would not be necessarily the worst thing on the planet, but it wouldn't reinforce anything. It would just
right, because that's already something that people have a worry about. Oh, is Bernie too old to be president?
And by the way, you will notice that if you follow Bernie Sanders on social media, there's a lot of clips of him shooting hoops. There's a lot of clips of him being active and running around and showing mobility. This is like a part of the game. It's a part of the game for Bernie. It's a part of the game for Biden. It's a part of the game for Warren. It's a part of the game for Trump, for the record. And that's something where, as rambly as he is, right? Like, he kept up a more rigorous schedule than his opponent did in 2016 in the general. And that matters when they were both old. One seeming a little less old than the other one matters a lot. So in the abstract, does this kind of stuff worry you about somebody like Joe Biden?
I mean, he's not my first choice either. I mean, put away the idea that I would basically take a 3-week-old turd with a toothpick stuck in it over what we have now. That being said, I mean, I just think it's too. He'd just get carried the whole time in office. I mean, he'd be in office and it would just be other parts of the administration, and maybe that's okay. I don't know, but it just seems like he's just not going to do anything. He's just sort of just going to sit there, and he looks like he's about to fall over. And I don't like to be ageist or whatever, because there's going to come a day where I look like I'm going to fall over. And I would really like it if people didn't think I was going to fall over, that I had the energy to do what I wanted to do. So I'm trying not to be too, judgmental in that regard.
I mean, there is a context to that, though, right?
Yeah.
Because if you looked so old that you were going to fall over, then the question would be like, is he going to get that cartoon done? Or like, are we going to get another episode of the podcast? Like, not like, hey, is this going to be the most powerful person in the world?
Yeah, like that's a great point. And I guess that's why I feel hesitant about it, but also the rest of the crowd that are running for this nomination all seem to have a lot more energy than he does. Even the most sort of slow of them just seems like they've got more energy to do the job. And if you can say one thing about Trump, whether it's because of the copious amounts of Adderall he likely takes every morning, I don't know. But when he's on his pills, he has got a lot of energy. And that matters. Like, it matters not just in the optics, but it matters in, whether his base continues to support. If he looked weak and slow and slurred his words constantly, I think they maybe would start to feel differently about it. But, he's not quite there yet. So, I don't know. I just feel like maybe somebody with some, not only some energy, but maybe some knowledge of more current generations than the one you came out of, and that sort of thing would help. Like, it still feels like Warren and Harris are way more, I don't know, they feel like they got 500 times more energy than Joe Biden does. And maybe part of this is just him coasting, going, well, I'm pretty much sewing this up, so I don't really have to work that hard at these debates or whatever. Maybe that's just coming out because the older you get.
He actually, the first 20 minutes, he had the best performance that he's had so far. He even he pulled a little okey doke and leaked to the press that he was definitely going to attack Elizabeth Warren, and then definitely went after Joe Biden. Like, that was old school, like just a big leak that all of a sudden everybody bid on. And so if you're Elizabeth Warren, you got to prepare for it. And the next thing you know, he's telling Joe Biden that he has a lot more faith in corporate CEOs than Biden does when it comes to renegotiating healthcare for union people if Medicare for all becomes a reality.
Right.
Like, that was his pre-planned line. He knew Bernie was Bernie's already moved some of his policy because of that criticism.
Yeah.
So he was there to hit Bernie, and he did. And I think it was fairly effective. I mean, we'll see where the polls fall out on, but I think he was effective there. And then he faded, and he started talking about playing your record player for kids so they learn more, and a bunch of kind of like really rambly, melty stuff.
Yeah. I mean, do you given what we know about where we're at with the debates and everything we've done, who do you think's in the? I mean, who has it changed? Who you think is going to get the nomination? Or have
my
you?
pick from the very beginning was Bernie.
Yeah.
Right now, the clear front runner is Biden, and I think that the reason why is exactly what you said to begin everything. That I will vote for a turd against Trump.
Sticking on it. Yeah,
so
sticking on it. Yeah.
then at that point, the question is electability. And
Yeah.
right now, there is a majority of the Democratic Party, even in the primary, that are worried that both Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren are too far from the mainstream of the party, and that Harris and Buttigieg and anybody else are not as electable as a national brand name as Joe Biden. And so they're kind of betting on the fact that maybe his arm won't fall off and they won't have to like weekend at Biden's him all the way to the White House. But that's where I think that the state of play is right now.
Yeah. I think you.
Although Warren has the best chance right now because Bernie has done, I think, a very a bad job of differentiating his campaign from Warren's campaign. And right now, if he does not differentiate himself from her, then it will just be, oh, do I want Bernie Sanders or a Bernie Sanders that would get elected?
Yeah, because that's
and
kind of
that doesn't have the baggage of 2016.
Right. That's a good point. By the way, Buttigieg, we got to start saying his name right.
Buttigieg.
Buttigieg.
You know, I don't think that's right, man. Like I listened to like him and his husband say their last name, and it doesn't sound like Buttigieg.
No, it
They
doesn't.
say like
Buttigieg.
Buttigieg.
Yeah, it sounds like Buttigieg. Like Buddha. Like if Buddha had to go see the judge, Buttigieg, right? Not.
I was thinking more with a T, like Buttigieg.
Yeah,
As
Buttigieg.
opposed to D, but you say it so fast, doesn't matter if it's.
I like to think that he's the booty judge.
Well,
all rise.
I think
That's
he
right.
might be the booty judge. Anyway,
Buttigieg.
well, all right. This is interesting. If you, I mean, it's just a weird thing because, as some people know or like to ignore, I in the past have been somewhat of a Republican voter guy, and every time I have to go, well, I really kind of hate what's happening right now. I guess I may have to vote with whoever somebody else I like. The Democrats always just strike me as forgetting what this is, which should be a referendum against Trump. And people like you, smart political voices out there would probably say to me, well, Scott, they still have to talk about the issues that matter to their base, just like Trump has to talk about the stuff he thinks matters to his base. And their base isn't just sitting around going, we'll take out Trump and then we'll work on other stuff. I just wish they would do that. I wish they would just go, yeah, all this stuff's important and they're big issues and it's, you know, whether it's healthcare or whether it's abortion, whether it's 1,000 other things. They're big important issues. But maybe first pick the booger off the dashboard and throw it out the window before you start talking about how you're going to repaint your car. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but you can't now. I mean, like, what, they're gonna go 10 debates where they all just say, hey, I don't like Trump, like that's not gonna happen. They are all running campaigns, and right now they're running campaigns against each other.
Yeah.
And if you really want an electable candidate, then you need somebody that has some scalps, that beat some people, that edged out other really good candidates. I don't think I'm very much against the idea that a candidate is stronger if they're unattacked. I think that a battle-tested candidate is way more likely to win a general election because they understand their own weaknesses, they understand their strengths a lot more, and beyond that, I don't think that this can be a referendum on Trump for the Democrats. Like right now, they either need to say, like, there's going to be some form of progressivism comparative to the norm that will be the message, be it a single payer, a public option, or Medicare for all, or something like that. There will be some argument for that going into the general, and you have to focus on that because it can't just be about, hey, is Trump bad? Because if the question is, hey, is Trump bad? then you're exactly framing it the way that he wants it to be framed, which is, no, I'm good. And so now where is your narrative? Like,
Right.
where is the win?
Yeah. No, you make a good point. Totally agree with that. Final question today, a little bit unrelated. If you had to count how many total faces that likely had Brett Kavanaugh's penis in close proximity to, how many would that be?
That was a really weird one. So number one, like that comes out and it kind of felt like a deleted scene. Like this was like the DVD for the Kavanaugh confirmation came out, and this was like a deleted scene that they like, because you get why it didn't make the movie.
Sure.
You were like, okay, well this one, the lady doesn't even say that she remembers it, and it's like a third party person, and also the allegation word for word is that friends pushed Kavanaugh's penis into the hand of a female.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that many of you listening don't have penises, but I will say that if the wording were that friends pushed Kavanaugh so his penis went into somebody's hand, I could see that.
That's a different thing. Yes.
That's a different thing. To push a penis either requires a very substantial penis.
Certainly
or
requires a very
tiny
substantial
hands.
friend.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I have never. I mean, that was a curious one.
It's got to be a wording situation where they pushed Brett so that his penis went into the hands.
I mean, look, this is something that went to the FBI. The FBI, this landed on an FBI desk, and that was the specific wording that came back.
It's not like they didn't have an opportunity
pushed
to
his
correct
penis
Yeah.
into the hand of another woman. Now, to your question, Scott, I, with no evidence, believe wholeheartedly that dude liked pulling out his hog at parties. Like, there is no doubt to me that, like, there and folks, I know that maybe this does not happen in the year of our Lord 2019. Maybe we need to look back in shame at other times that it happened, but I have been around people. There are just some dudes who like pulling out their ween at parties in high school and college and my early 20s. It was just the thing they did. They liked to do it. It was a funny party joke, and everybody laughed. Now, obviously, that might have some sinister overtones as we look back into that period of time. But if that happened in my era, growing up in the late 90s, early aughts, right? Then almost assuredly, I will report with no evidence that dude liked to pull out his peen at parties.
Yeah, I know it's a Brett thing for me, and I know that's unfair. There are a lot of Bretts out there. They should not be.
Just the name. The name is a.
I just don't trust Bretts. I never have.
Wait, are you telling me that you didn't know the guy who pulls out his peen at parties?
Oh, I totally knew a guy like that, but his name wasn't Brett. But I totally knew a guy like that. Yeah.
And Brian, you knew a guy that liked to pull out his peen at parties,
Totally
right?
did.
Yeah. Everybody did.
This is a thing that happened. Like,
I
there's
live
just
next
no.
door to him still.
Right. You know what
You've had sushi with him.
Dave. Oh, geez. Does Dave listen? I can't remember if he
No,
listens.
I don't think so.
Yeah, Tina does. Tina, keep this to yourself.
She's laughing. She's laughing at this right now.
But here's the thing. And I know Justin's not. Obviously, you're not saying this. Well, okay. Let me say it this way. The guys I knew who did that, I knew a guy named Eric and I knew a guy named Travis who did that a lot.
Yeah.
Neither of them are serving on the highest court in the land. And so I can see why some people would see this, even historically, and go, well, even though, perhaps our standards have changed or we've gotten better at recognizing, this kind of stuff as being what it is or whatever, like, I can see why people wouldn't be happy to know that he's on the Supreme Court. We have this idea in our heads, because for all I know, everybody on the Supreme Court's constantly flipping their dong out and slapping each other in the face. I don't know when they were younger or when they were going to college, but we have it in our heads that these are the most grounded, thoughtful, non-fraternity style people that you could possibly have making decisions like the ones they're making. And if you're telling me, or maybe not you, but if somebody's telling me that that's all just been a lie no matter what, and I just have believed it because that's what I was fed, well, then I guess maybe it's on me. But it does seem like we don't want a dude who likes pulling his wings out at parties making giant decisions that affect people's lives, right? I mean, that's fair for people to feel that way.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, look, to me, the most credible allegation against Brett Kavanaugh was Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, who spoke at his confirmation hearing. And even then, there were questions, right? I think she had a very compelling testimony, but ultimately, the fact of the matter is that confirmation votes are on party lines, especially these days. And the Republicans had the majority, and the question was whether or not, if Brett Kavanaugh was spiked, then who's the next one, right? Is it going to be Amy Coney Barrett, who is inarguably far more religious and probably more conservative than Brett Kavanaugh?
Yeah.
There's a lot that kind of goes that I think went into that situation up to and including all of the allegations.
Yeah. That's interesting stuff. Well, we'll see how that goes. That kind of came out of nowhere, but it did definitely feel like a, hey, remember this? Here's a deleted, like you said, deleted scene. That's how it feels.
Yeah.
It's really weird. It's a very odd thing. And and everything that's been described about him is such 80s frat, like such 80s movie, like Porky's style telling
by
of
the
the
way,
story.
we're going to get so much more of this going forward. Before we die, we're going to have a Supreme Court justice that has a sex tape.
Great.
Like I'm convinced. Like, I mean, just because
Justice Kardashian. Yeah, I'm ready.
Well, no, I mean, like we're in. I mean, I'm on the record that she's going to run for president, but I do believe that we are in a situation where, number one, we just record what happens a lot more, and be it physically on media and video and pictures, or even like in this case where, literally, all these things that Brett Kavanaugh did as a youth, and we can find them as distasteful to criminal as we do, but at the end of the day, that's what that is 2019. And so it is all there. It can all be surfaced. It will all come out. I'm a firm believer that nobody will have any secrets by the time that we are passed on.
Wow, this is going to be great. It's going to be a great new future. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait until we have a Supreme Court justice with a sex tape. Because in theory, it could go anything. It's like, I had a porn career, but then I became a lawyer, and now I'm a Supreme Court judge. Like, you could go anywhere. In your theory, because part of your theory isn't that we'll have that, but that standards will allow that. And you could argue we're already doing that. Like Trump credibly accused of all sorts of assault and rape.
We have a reality show host as a president.
Yeah, like we're doing things that 20 years ago you could have said, hey, I'll bet one day we have a reality TV show host as a president, and everybody would have laughed you off the stage. But nope, here we are. So you're probably not wrong. You're probably right.
I mean, look, Seiden says it's not a new development to have people in political power with salacious histories. The difference is the lack of consequences. I don't know, man. I think that we have constantly made horrifying moral compromises and political decisions based on how important people are that have done awful things. And I think that river runs as deep as the Chappaquiddick.
Oh, nice reference. That was good. Deep cut. Sorry, too soon. Deep. Don't use the word deep.
Yeah. Hashtag Mary Jo Kopechne.
Yeah. I saw. Well, geez, nice recall though. By the way, geez,
Thanks.
Look at us. We know our history, everybody. All right. Well, this has been fantastic as always. Jury, of course, doing all sorts of great stuff during the week, and should probably tell us now what's happening this week. What should we be looking for over there?
Well, man, what have I got going this week? I don't know. Just follow me on Twitter.
Yeah. I broke you by making you fire somebody last night on ENTP.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No. So what's the deal? Wait a minute. Because last year we did a bunch of weeks, and then we started releasing them like 5 weeks in. Like, what are we doing now?
It's gonna be a lot shorter this time. So next Monday is going to be the show where we issue the first challenge.
Okay.
So the one we recorded a week ago, and then 2 weeks from now we'll have the one we recorded last night. So Hammond's on about a 2 week schedule on this one.
Poor Hammond.
I know. Well, it helps, your recommendation about like everybody doing timestamps for important recordings or important moments in the recordings they do. That helps tremendously.
Yeah, I think he's just after doing a season of it, he's just gotten a lot better too. Like that
formula. There's a formula to it now that he's figured out. So.
Yeah. So when does that first episode hit?
So the episode that's on the feed right now is the one with me and Tom talking about this upcoming season.
Mm-hmm.
This coming Monday will be the episode we all recorded last week where we met the contestants very briefly. I skipped over one. We didn't hear Jen, but we've edited all that to make it sound good. And then gave them their first challenge. And then a week from Monday,
we'll be current with what we did yesterday.
2 weeks from Monday will be what we recorded.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely faster than last season. Yeah,
definitely faster.
Well, it was fun to get back into it and feel that sort of emotional.
And boy, you guys are so fantastic, and Jenny Josephson is such a great addition to the cast. We miss Nicole obviously, but she's
great.
Man, she has a different perspective than Nicole.
She has such a technical perspective, and she's amazing. I'll tell you what. This, not to say nothing of last year's contestants. The first challenge we did, without spoilers, it was great. I mean, like everybody was like really, really, really brought it. So. I'm excited. It was hard. It was hard to do the first judging, and I think it's going to be even harder going forward.
Yeah,
I think so too.
I think
we're getting to know these people, over the week after week, and it's we start getting attached to these people. And
they're part of the family.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, this one's gonna be hard, and if the quality of the first challenge is any indication, like it's gonna be even harder going forward.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's pretty good stuff. All right, Justin Robert Young, of course, Justin R. Young on Twitter. So follow him there. He's got stuff, shows and things and deals. So check them all out. I guess you probably have. Night Attack.
Follow me on Twitch. After this, I'm going to be streaming twitch.tv/Justin R.
See, there you go. There's something to catch right as soon as we end here. It's Justin Robert Young, everybody. Take it easy, have fun, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
See you, buddy.
Bye. He hung up on me first. That bastard.
He knows what to do.
He does know what to do.
He knows his dealio.
All right, Brioche. We are at the stage of this show where I did so I've been informed by Jamie that there was a bonus mashup that we didn't play last week. I didn't realize it, so he went and renamed the file. I'm going to tell you what he renamed it. This is pretty funny. It is now called Have Not Played.
Okay.
So I don't know what it is, but here it is. Something about shit blankets. Here you go. We'll play it. The kid was the psycho the whole time. Sick tats. Scared the shit out of me. What's that? Why is there a shitter in there? What is it? Yeah, this game's not scary at all. Not scary at all, they said. No. Open the door. It's all wiggly. What is that? Robot snake. Oh, shit. You're useless piece of shit. This game's so... what is it? What is that? Oh, no. X, don't give it to me. Shit. That appears to be some horse shit. Oh, great. Oh, shit blankets, dude. Shit. No. Oh, this is the scariest game I've ever played. Shit. Oh, la. Don't do that. No! Frick! What the H? F this game. Shit! Ew, eyeballs. Oh, what the frick is that? Oh, shit. Not cool. Huh! Shut up. There's more of this to come. That much I can promise you. My lord.
Oh, my God.
That's a bad one. Apparently,
so,
yeah.
Somebody needs to take this and splice it together somehow with fail videos, like, the fail videos of kids trying to do grinding on handrails and landing on their crotch, and just have the audio of you with the video of them, and see if we can get some good timing of. Ah!
I'm in on that. Who wants to do it? Someone want to do it, or just animate me being an idiot or whatever. But these files are available for whatever hard work somebody wants to do that I don't have time for.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
So there you go. Thank you, Jamie, for that. And you can always follow him on Twitter at TMS Mashups. He also has a Patreon at patreon.com/TMS Mashups. It's gonna do it for the show, I believe. We're done. We got stuff tomorrow though. We got Nicole, Tom, all that stuff that we do.
Yeah.
And that'll be fun. And then in the meantime, check us out at frogpants.com/TMS if you're looking to contact us or find our voicemail or our email or our freaking Reddit page or any of that stuff. That'd be great. You also may notice some weird stuff on the Discord right now for the TMS Discord. Nothing will change for TMS people. That Discord is still there. It's still there. You're the one I kept there, but I've learned a lesson. My idea, Brian, you're gonna love this. My idea of spreading it out to everybody gets their own Discord was stupid, and I've learned my lesson.
Yeah.
And
you know what? I wouldn't say it was stupid. It was an experiment, and
it wasn't stupid. It wasn't like blind stupidity, but in retrospect, I think it was not the best idea. So I've learned my lesson, and it's all coming back. So we're going to just make it the way Discord's supposed to be, which is TMS gets its own thing, and a million other things get their own thing. But here we are in
different clusters.
Yeah, it's just a single channel to worry about. So.
And what's really cool, and I don't know if people know to do, that they can do this, but when you're in the Frog Pants Central Discord channel that has all these in there, if there's a show that, you know, it's like, oh, well, I don't want to see this stuff, you know, come in the feed or get notified when there's messages. Number one, you can right click on a group and choose to mute the category.
Yeah, you can mute a whole channel in there.
You can mute a whole category. And you can drag the categories up and down so that if you're first and foremost the morning stream, and then you like Film Sack, and then you like Boop, you can drag those three to the top so that maybe stuff like other things that you don't listen to go to the bottom.
Yeah.
And your focus can be on the top.
Agreed. In my defense, the problem was I thought, and I think I was right about this, the old Frog Pants channel was a mess, and it was full of people just creating channels for no reason that were just dumb channels. Like, here's where we get to be negative and shitty, and here's a room where we get to say secrety sexy stuff to each other. It's like, no, how about we just streamline that? In my head it was like, well, we'll split it out and that'll make sense. But I think bringing it all back but still having a better control over what channels get made, we got it.
Yeah, I think I like this organization. So,
and if you haven't gone there, go and get on. It's linked on the site over at frogpants.com/TMS.
So you're saying that I can delete my link to the instance server, the Boop server, the Skim server, the core server?
You can get rid of all of those now. I'm going to keep them up for a while because I guess MacBook Pro 17 is trying to see. I haven't heard back from him. But he's trying to see if any of the content could be migrated. So it's possible those channels could get their old stuff moved over. And if so, great. We'll keep it up until we can figure that out. But if not, I'll check those at some point.
I'm curious about what happens to our special little secret channel in Film Sack.
Oh, we'll still have one. It'll just be in the new Film Sack subgroup.
Cool.
Yeah, it'll be the same.
That would be a good one then to see if we can move over, because there's a lot of people's movie recommendations that.
Yes, and if worst case somebody can go and do us the hot favor of cutting and pasting.
Select
a bunch
all,
of that.
copy paste.
Yeah, that would be cool if they did that.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's everything. We should get out of here with a song, though. Do you have one prepared?
Yes. Dustin Anderson wrote in and said, requested song for whenever you can fit it in. This is Metallica, a great song that they cover. But he says, if the one that he requested, he says there's a few others. If you like to play this one over that or that one over this, that's totally fine. He just wants to hear some Metallica cover on the show. Well, this one I can do. I've got a license for this album. I got a few Metallica covers I can play. This one is a great one from the 2003 tribute to the Ramones called We're a Happy Family. Here's Metallica covering the Ramones, 53rd and 3rd.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you all for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
Let's go out to the edge of the cliff.
Okay.
What are we going to do there?
Sounds great. I mean, I don't know much about it, but
The edge of the cliff.
All right, let me pull up our prep show thing again. I screwed it up yesterday, so today's will be fixed. I didn't. That's a long story, but I deleted the last part. I felt bad about it.
Oops.
Okay, here we are, though. Okay, show has ended, patrons. Patrons, hi. This is our little bonusy hoo-ha that we're doing now.
So now we
and,
get